Record Store Day, Black Friday. Now, this isn't like normal Black Friday. You don't have to line up in front of a Walmart and try to get a TV. You're trying to get some limited record releases, and every year there's a new list. This year, the list is interesting. I'm gonna tell you why right after this. We've made it to Record Store Day Black Friday 2017, and the list is out so we can see all of the releases, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I'm a little disappointed. Now, that's not to say there aren't some good items on the list, but I will say that the majority of the items on the list are underwhelming. First of all, can we just talk about how many picture discs there are? I feel like every other item on the list is a picture disc. Now, some are good for novelty and some win me over in that way, but most of the time, I'd much rather have any album on black or colored vinyl than a picture disc. I don't know why they're greenlighting all of these picture disc reissues, but it seems to be the trend, and I definitely don't want to overpay for something that is a picture disc quality. I'm going to tell you from the list what I'm interested in and hopefully will pick up, but I still am curious what you guys want. The list is broken down into 3 sections. The first is Record Store Day Exclusive Releases. These are the releases that are supposedly not going to come out any other time but Record Store Day. Sometimes they don't keep their word and they repress it, but most of the time that tends to be the case. Then there's RSD Limited Run or Regional, which tends to be something that they may re-release down the road. It may be easier to find overseas. This is kind of a weird section. There's not really a lot of explanation as to the rhyme or reason behind it. I can usually find most of them in my local American record store, but I am in Los Angeles, so I tend to get a better selection than some places. Finally, there's RSD First Releases. Now, a first release means that it's gonna come out on Record Store Day for the first time, but it will get a release down the road in a larger capacity, whether it's the same variant, same pressing number. That'll be different, possibly, but if you don't get it now, you'll have another chance later. Of the exclusive releases, there's not really anything that jumped out at me. The one that I'm kind of interested in is Tangerine Dream Electronic Meditation. Tangerine Dream is one of the first electronic acts, and this album is not super easy to find a good copy of these days, at least for under 25, 30 bucks. So this is coming in a gatefold, which I don't think the original was, and I'm definitely considering picking up if I see it in the store if I make it down. As for Limited Run, there's only one on that section of the list that jumps out at me too. 3-6 Mafia Chapter 2 World Domination. I love early 3-6 Mafia, that kind of Memphis hip-hop sound. Big fan. You know, it inspired some of my favorite artists like Lil Ugly Mane. It's limited to 1,000 copies, so this might go fast, but I don't doubt that it will come out with another reissue down the road. And then first releases. There are definitely a handful that pique my interest, but do they pique it enough to line up all night like I usually do? Daedalus, really cool experimental electronic musician, is putting out Invention and the Quiet Party, 15th anniversary. Limited to 1,000 copies, I'm gonna probably grab this because it features one of my favorite underground rappers, Bus Driver, on a few of the tracks, and most of Daedelus's beats are pretty interesting and pretty fun. Definitely experimental, some catchier than others, but these 2 albums are solid, and I think I gotta add this to my collection. Fleet Foxes, The Electric Lady Session. Now, this was a couple tracks they recorded from their new LP, Crack Up, which I liked. I thought it was a great album. Truth be told, after my first listen or 2, I haven't gone back to it. Probably because I'm busy, not because I didn't like it, but I think I need to keep my Fleet Foxes collection complete, and this would be incomplete without it, so if I'm in line, I'm gonna grab it. J Dilla's Delights Volume 1 and 2. Now, J Dilla is one of the greatest hip-hop beat makers of all time. Tragically passed away way too early, much like his brethren Nujabes, who is often considered to be his rival or, you know, his equal when it comes to 2 of the best people making beats in the history of beat making. These are 2 posthumous releases coming out on colored vinyl, and honestly, I'm a little mixed about the J Dilla stuff that's posthumous because he didn't really have a say as to whether or not he wanted these to come out. I don't know if the beats are finished, I don't know if they're demos, I don't know if he ever wanted these to come out. So I'm gonna give a listen digitally. I haven't heard these 2 because there's been a fair amount of posthumous material since he passed away. If it's amazing, I'll probably grab them, but I don't know, if it doesn't immediately grab me, I might just let it lie. The Poncey A Tape. This, for me, is the star of the entire Record Store Day lineup. If you know me, I love grunge. I'm a broken record at this point. Cliff Poncier is one of the main characters in the movie Singles, which is a love letter to grunge. He plays a character inspired a bit by Chris Cornell, a bit by Eddie Vedder. He's just a rock star, and he's kind of a joke character, very funny. He really drives the movie, but in the movie he has a cassette demo called the Poncey A Tape, because that's his last name. In real life, Chris Cornell recorded 5 songs as Cliff Poncier, well, as himself, but imagining what the song titles would have been as songs, and they contain some of his best work. Early version of Spoon Man, Flutter Girl, Seasons. I mean, this is solid Chris Cornell work that I would love to own on both vinyl and cassette. And lucky for me, they're putting it out on both mediums. This is something I'm gonna have to grab, and I think this might be the sole reason I am gonna go to the record store that day. Everything else is just a bonus. Ah, they got me. They got a Baby Groot picture disc. It's so cute. It's a little, I think 7-inch, and it has a cutout of Baby Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 cut out on the outside, so it's a shaped picture disc. It has some music from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Great soundtrack, great score. I'm a sucker for this. I'm probably gonna grab it too. It just looks so cool. Love me some Baby Groot. The Vitamin String Quartet is doing another release. This time it is The World of Studio Ghibli. Now, Studio Ghibli is the animation studio that does a lot of films such as My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and I'm not super familiar with them, but Allison, who you know from some of my videos, recently showed me Spirited Away, and the music was the first thing that caught my ear. I thought it really made the film what it was. Mondo, a while ago, pressed some of the Studio Ghibli songs onto vinyl, and those are incredibly hard to find. They are super out of print. I love the music, so I'm gonna probably pick this up because I really like a lot of what the Vitamin String Quartet has done before, especially that Kanye release. I love the Moon and Antarctica one they did for Modest Mouse, and I have to keep supporting them because I'm a fan of what they do. And finally, Neil Young's album Harvest Moon from the 90s is getting its first ever US pressing. They have a couple bootlegs of this, but if you want a real pressing, you're gonna have to pay a lot of money because I think it goes for easily $90+ on Discogs. This is solid era Neil, and I think if you're a Neil Young fan, you have to have this in your collection, and it's cool they're finally releasing it. Then a couple WTF releases, I just have to be like, why? Gorillaz Humans, the newest album by Gorillaz, is getting a picture disc release. 4,900 copies of this. Why? These are gonna be sitting on shelves forever. The album itself, to me, wasn't even that good. I mean, personally, I didn't love it, and I really think Gorillaz are excellent. They already have a standard, a deluxe, and a super deluxe box set. Why do you need a picture disc? This is a money grab in a weird way. I don't think anyone's trying to listen to Humans on a picture disc for fidelity, and the picture they're showing doesn't even seem that cool. So this is a hard pass. Insane Clown Posse, The Great Milenko, 20th anniversary. Who's buying this? Now, maybe I'm underestimating the Juggalo scene. 2,700 copies of this? I think this is going to be really common in stores moving forward. I don't know how they can move that many. Now, like I said, I'm not a Juggalo, not an ICP fan, but this seems like a waste of a pressing plant's time, personally. Sorry to all the Juggalos that watch my videos. Finally, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, Kings of Crunk. This is not an album that needed a vinyl pressing. No one's dying to get the Kings of Crunk on vinyl. 1,500 copies. Now, that's a little less than the other ones, so maybe this will sell out. Maybe people think it's gonna be limited and it will sell out and people will try to flip it and fail. This is not something that needed to be pressed. Ultimately, as you can tell, I am underwhelmed by this Record Store Day list. I hope the real Record Store Day in April is full of some richer, more interesting titles, reissues we've been asking for. That's what Record Store Day is for. It's for titles that people want that have been out of print or have never received a vinyl pressing, and it's super exciting to go line up and get something like that you've been waiting for a long time. Record Store Day Black Friday tends to be a bit of a miss in comparison to the regular Record Store Day, but this year is the first year where I'm contemplating not even lining up. I would usually get to the store around 2 a.m., 3 a.m., maybe 4 a.m. for Black Friday. This year, I might spend it with my family and then go in the afternoon and see what I can pick up. As long as I get that Poncey A Tape, all should be well. So this is the time for you to let me know in the comments what you guys are gonna be getting for Record Store Day Black Friday. What do you like from the list? What do you think is weird on the list? And just your general thoughts on the list this year. It's a little controversial based on what I'm reading online. I think most people are underwhelmed, and I don't think that's what they're going for from the Record Store Day Association. So leave a comment, let me know. I'm curious what you're hoping to pick up. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and we have more videos coming for you next week.